Hey everybody, Greg Poole here at Bow Junkie Media, bowjunkiemedia.com. We are at the 2020 NFAA Indoor Nationals here at the Easton Shooting Center in Yankton, South Dakota. This weekend's coverage is brought to you by Bomar Archery. Head over to Bomar Archery, check out the nose button. We have shot, and by we, I mean they, have shot the first portion of the NFAA Indoor round. This is a modified round, of course, due to the Rona. They have shot the 5-spot round of this, 60 arrows. We are now going to be live feeding the entire Vegas round portion of this. So allow me to explain kind of what's happening. First of all, as you can see, we're only shooting one line. So this is not going to take an extraordinarily long time. Let me get out of the way here. So basically what's happening is they're shooting one line. They are getting a break after, I believe, about 4 targets, but here's how the format is working. They have shot a standard 5-spot indoor round, 300, counting 60 X's. This is for the men's pro, of course. We do have some women and seniors as well, but they will take the standard indoor 5-spot round, counting X's. They will then shoot a Vegas round, not counting X's, only counting 10s. So, for instance, in the senior men, we have Randall Morocco, Benton Christensen, and Tim Audis all shot 60 X's. So they shot 300 with 60 X's. In the women's pro, we have Linda Cho Anderson and Paige Pierce, who both shot 60 X's. So they will then go into the Vegas round. This is the first official end for score. And only the 10 will count here. So X's won't count until the end when they are actually breaking ties for 4th through however many competitors there are. So basically what's going to happen is the normal shoot-off format is in effect. So they've shot the first 5-spot round. They're going to shoot this Vegas round, only counting 10s. Then we will go into a standard Indoor Nationals 5-spot target shoot-off. 1 round of normal scoring and then inside outs. On the men's side of things, and this was a little bit of a surprise to me, folks, I'm not going to lie. We had 17 archers shoot perfect 600s, or excuse me, perfect 300s with 60 X's. We had Chris Schaff, Paul Tedford, Jace Boyles, Stefan Hansen, Cole Frederick, Jacob Pettit, Tate Morgan, Robert Householder, Jeremiah McConnell, Donnie Thacker, Gaius Carter, Steve Anderson, Dane Johnson, Dan Jazza, Henry Bass, Kyle Douglas, and Richard Bowen. Now, for those of you that have been paying attention, we have been here all week, and there are some names on there that have basically been shooting here the entire week. A few of the names who've just showed up for this event, Robert Householder, Donnie Thacker showed up to shoot the Dakota Classic and this. Dane Johnson showed up just to shoot Indoor Nationals. Henry Bass showed up just to shoot Indoor Nationals. So Richard Bowen showed up to shoot the Dakota Classic as well. So basically another thing you're going to see out here, August Peters will, I'm sure, be zooming in to show you, is they are actually using the flip cards. So during the 5-spot round, they were only flipping around X's. In this particular round, because the X in the Vegas round does not count, they are only flipping around 10s. So when you see them flip around these cards right now, if they shot 3 10s in the first end, you're going to see the score of 30, 60, 90, 120, 150, etc. So we're going to start down here on target 50. There's a whole bunch of X's down here, I can tell you that. So these boys are got it. What's that?
Snap assessment.
All right, so Steve Anderson has a close one down here. Yeah. I'm sorry, what's that? 10s.
Just 10s?
X's don't count. Let me go tell them over here. All right, so need a little bit of communication here. Yes, the flip cards are going to be for 10s, not All right, so we're down into the ones downs. So Steve Anderson calling a judge. Shorty will come over and take a look. I'm assuming this is for Steve Anderson's arrow. So let me come over here and all right, so we got Shorty is down here looking. This will be a telltale arrow for Steve here. If this gets called a 9, he will be he probably won't make the shoot off here at Indoor Nationals. 10. Steve Anderson gets the call. So Steve Anderson salvages a 10 on that arrow. I'm sure I'm sure he's not going to want to do that again, but that's how much is on the line here, folks. That one arrow right there, had that been called a 9, Steve Anderson would have been essentially done for the Indoor Nationals. But he got the call, so he lives to fight another end. All right, let me move down here. We're going to see what our women are doing. All right, so it looks like Paige Pierce has dropped a point in the first scoring end. So Paige Pierce has a 29 down there on the board, which means she dropped 1 point. So Linda Cho Anderson's going to take a 1-point lead over Paige Pierce in the first scoring end of the modified Vegas round here at the NFAA Indoor Nationals. Everybody be sure to like and share this live feed so your friends can tune in. We know that this is not your normal indoor NFAA Indoor Nationals, but there's really not a lot about this archery season or this year period that's normal. So great to see the NFAA making this happen. If we didn't have access to this great facility here in Yankton, South Dakota, we probably wouldn't have been able to have any of these tournaments. So major props to them for getting this done. I do see that Steve Anderson and Donnie Thacker both forgot to turn their scores over. We will politely remind them. So on the first scoring end, Linda Cho Anderson, who was also last night cinched the win in the First Dakota Classic. So she was the champion there, trying to roll that through into here. One of the things about this round today with only shooting one line, folks, is these pros are moving through this fairly quickly. The 60 arrows for the NFAA 5 spot was hands down the fastest 5 spot at a national level probably ever shot. So see the seniors down there need to start turning those scorecards over as well. It'll be easy for August on the camera to actually scroll through. So as I mentioned, when you see a score down there now, it's going to go from 30. Perfect score will be 60. The X's will only be used to break any ties. And that's not ties for first through third. That's for fourth through the rest of the competitors.
Yeah, we forgot.
All right. So, all right, let's take a look here. Richard Bowen's good. These bowies are shooting down here. There ain't no doubt. All right, let me take a quick. Cole Frederick with a half shafter there, but well in. Paige picks things back up. 3 X's. Linda Choa good as well. Let's go down here and see what our top men are doing. All right, down here on the senior pro end of the line, we have Morocco, Benton Christensen, and Otis. Tim Gillingham in the cheap. Tim Gillingham says he's down here in the cheap seats. So Tim Gillingham still clean. So is Tim Otis. So Morocco with a 60. So Benton Christensen has dropped 1 point. So at this point right now, we have Tim Otis and Morocco are going to be tied at perfect 60s. They also shot a 60X in the 5-spot round. So we have two seniors right now. Benton Christensen has fallen 1 point behind. So right now we have Tim Otis and Morocco tied clean in the senior pro. Linda Choa Anderson is leading the women's pro, 1 point ahead of Paige Pierce. And from a quick glance at things, from target 51 down to 59, looks like all of our men in the male pro are still going to be clean. That's one great thing that I love about these flip cards is it makes it extremely easy to track and monitor, not just for me, but for the cameraman and for those of you watching at home. So be sure to like and share this live feed so everybody can tune in. I want to remind you that this event coverage is brought to you by Bomar Archery. And we've just been here all week, bow junking it up. Also want to remind everybody that if you are watching this live feed, you might be watching it on Facebook or probably not I would suspect not or you are watching it on our Bow Junkie Media YouTube. So we have started multicasting our live feed on Facebook and YouTube. So if you're on YouTube, give us a like, give us a follow or a subscription or however you want to follow us on YouTube. Just be sure to click like and subscribe to the channel. If you're on Facebook, hopefully you've already liked the page, but give this live feed a like and a share, and let's get as many people over here as we can. Just to give you guys a little future update, yes, we will be live feeding the shoot-offs later today. Basically what's going to happen is we're going to do the entirety of this round, and as you can see, they're already through a couple ends. This is the third end now, so we are going to live feed this entire round. And then we will there's going to be a break. So they'll do a break, reset the field, do all that fun stuff that organizations do. Then we will start another live feed for the finals themselves. I got to tell you that the competitive tension of these archers starting off the week was not quite what it is now. The competitive tension of these pros has continued to build all week. You have to keep in mind that these guys have not been shooting very much, if at all. So getting 3-4 days of shooting under their belt, kind of getting some of that rust off, getting those competitive juices rolling again, and we're really seeing that about the middle of the Dakota Classic. That started to happen. A lot of X's down here, I can tell you that. So, all right, little tall arrow there for McConnell, but he got it. Quarter shaft. Bunch of indoor. Just an X. Got a call for an X down here, and I know a lot of you are thinking, well, if X's don't count for this, why would they want to call? Because if for some reason they end up not making the shoot off, X's will be used to break ties from 4th down to whatever place they end up going to. So as far as making the shoot-off goes, these X's don't matter, but if they happen to drop a point and don't make the shoot-off, then the X's will be used. So let's take a look over here. So Linda Cho Anderson maintaining a 1-point lead over Paige Pierce here at the NFAA Indoor Nationals. We still have Tim Otis and Morocco clean on 10s down there in the senior pro with Benton Christensen 1 point behind. Got a picture of the sign on 69. Oh, geez. All right. Somebody's having some fun down there on target 69. So, so obviously, even though this is indoor nationals, the mood is still light. I can tell you, everybody is just extremely excited to be here shooting. What Bruce and Brittany and everybody at the NFA has been able to accomplish this week has been nothing short of amazing. I mean, let's just be honest here, folks. They didn't have the amount of labor that they normally have, so we literally saw Bruce out driving a little buggy, watering the roads. So, and I'm not going to say that manual labor is not Bruce's strong suit, but Bruce has even been pitching in to make sure everything here at the Easton facility in Yankton, South Dakota is up to par, and they've been doing fantastic. One other thing that you can probably see on camera is how amazing the lighting is in here. Now, the portion of the building that we're in is the original Easton facility that they put in here. There's actually another building. I'm not sure if you can see it here. If August pans over, you'll see a roll-up door at the very end above the white wall. That is actually the breezeway, or just the door that goes into the other facility, and you can shoot about 80 yards in that building too. So absolutely world-class facilities here. If you've not came to Yankton, South Dakota to shoot any of these events, I strongly encourage you to do so. It is absolutely amazing what they got going on here. One note along that line is, if you're an NFAA member, you also own all of this. The NFAA, thanks to the generous donations from the Easton Foundation, from the City of Yankton, South Dakota, First National Bank, all of that, the NFAA owns this. This is not rented. This is not leased. This is not borrowed. This is not one of those things where we can get kicked out of here. The NFAA and all of you actually own this. So this is not the kind of thing that is pretty much ever going to go away. So as they continue to develop it, it's just going to be better and better for all of us archers. Linda Ochoa with a close one, but it's in. Paul Tedford with a quarter shafter there, but it's good. There's a lot of targets down here looking like we're in Vegas. These boys is good. I'm not sure how Richard Bowen always ends up on the far right in these situations, but I don't think he's complaining about it. He just kind of cruises under the radar. And then when all the scores are tabulated, Kyle. I just saved Kyle Douglas from the walk of shame. He wouldn't have came back anyway. I made that up, but in FIDA they would have made him, but not here. And why did I call him Chris? Oh, whatever. It's Kyle. But yeah, Richard Bowen always ends up kind of down on the end here, and then when all the scores are tabulated, Richard's usually clean too. But I think he kind of likes it. Broadwater, you need to not worry about what's going on with me. It's probably not on, but I'm Jesse, you need to learn how to count before you judge anybody. So, all right, let's look here. So, Ben Christensen still trailing Morocco and Tim Audis by 1. Look down here at the women, and once again, Paige Pierce is still trailing Linda Ochoa Anderson by 1 in the women in the female pros. One of the other great things about this facility here in Yankton is that this is not an archery only facility. They take the fields outside and they do soccer, they do tennis in here, they do birthday parties, and they do all kinds of other community events here. So this is actually a community center as much as it is an archery center, and it probably gets used more by the community here in Yankton than it does for archery. But when we're able to have archery events here, it's absolutely great, not just for the sport, but for all of us. So just to give you guys a quick recap on what's been happening this week, on Tuesday, we started the NFAA Outdoor Field Nationals. In the men's pro, Brady Ellison captured his first outdoor field championship. He was followed by Chris Schaff and Jesse Broadwater in third. In the female pro, Tanya Jensen, who has been pounding, brought home the win. And then Toya Ellison and Paige Pierce behind her. In the senior pro, Tim Gillingham won that again, with Michael Braden and Tim Oudis behind there. We then transitioned immediately into the outdoor target championships, which was basically a 600 and a 900 round outside. And in the senior division, Tim Gillingham doubled down there. Tanya Jensen also doubled down, winning that event as well in the women's pro. And then in the men's pro, Chris Schaff actually brought home the win there. We immediately transitioned from there into the Dakota Classic. We actually had several 600 shot in the Dakota Classic, and the Dakota Classic is also a 600 round where they then also do head-to-head matches. In the female pro division, Linda Cho Anderson won that last night. In the senior pro, Benton Christensen won. That was an emotional moment, let me tell you. And then in the men's, Chris Schaff, I'll just put it this way, Chris Schaff shot 150s through all the head-to-head matches at the Dakota Classic. And that's how you mic drop that, but I'm not going to mic drop this. It's like $1,500. Then also last night was the 3-star shoot-off, and Mr. Bell, I don't know where he's at. Wherever he's at, he ended up smoking the dot twice at 60 yards because he kept getting, oh yeah, there he is. He kept getting pushed by, you ready for this? Future mama-to-be, Toya Ellison, was back there crushing dots at 60 yards along with him, so absolutely fantastic. All right, let's do a quick update here. Linda Cho Anderson still with a 1-point lead over Paige. As far as the men go, I'm not seeing anybody dropping any points there. Steve Anderson decided to grab his arrows instead of leaving them till the next end. He's just helping out. Wait for Cole Fredrickson to flip those scorecards around there, Cole. There we go. Cole, by the way, was the young adult that pounded out a 900 in Vegas last year. Not sucking at shooting indoors. Let's take a gander down here. Tim Oudis and Morocco are still clean in the senior pro, with Benton Christensen, who was your winner last night at the Dakota Classic, 1 point behind. So apparently on target 59, there's a glitch in the matrix. Down, that's probably Broadwater trying to be funny. I'm sure August showed you there's some frustration on the left bail down there on number 69, but we will, for those that have been to this facility before, a lot of us have never seen the building configured in this fashion, because normally we're all shooting the Dakota Classic lengthwise, but what are you talking about?
I was talking about how you're just taking a 1 hour special, just talking on your own, like for an hour. It'd be hard.
It depends what you're talking about.
You're talking about archery.
No, as soon as you get out of hearing distance, I'm talking about you.
Oh.
So I got plenty of material. But actually, yeah, we're tracking scores, talking about the facility. Obviously, Steve Anderson from Easton. This facility wouldn't be possible without the generous donations of the Easton Foundation.
Easton Foundation, entirely separate from Easton Technical Products, my employer. I cannot claim connection, nor will I legally.
However, Greg Easton can.
I don't know the laws, the rules. But yeah, the foundation is the nonprofit side. When they sold off the baseball bat, hockey stick, bike stuff, they took all that money and put it into a nonprofit. The family just gave it to the foundation instead of just, like, I don't know, doing whatever they wanted with a pile of cash. And that's what has built centers nationwide and funds a lot of what happens in archery today too.
The sport would not be what the sport is without that money. So, and while Steve is correct that the Easton Foundation is different from Easton Technical Products, it's kind of ironic. It's kind of ironic to. I didn't say we were going. It's kind of ironic. It is kind of ironic to think about that. Old man Easton. I'm not talking about Greg, of course, but actually, Jim actually used the arrow money to develop the baseball bat stuff, and then ended up selling all of that development, and it's that money that they put back in to build what we have as archery today.
Yeah, so it's kind of come and gone and come back again, and yeah, I mean, there's Easton centers. I mean, there's what I gotta go.
All right, well, apparently the break wasn't as long as we thought, but basically, here he comes. He's pulling a dump. Right. We don't want to see him impale himself on his own femur. I don't think running is Henry Bass's strong suit, but that is one of the things that Steve was talking about. Is there's this Easton facility. There's one in Salt Lake. I believe there's one down in. I believe there's one in Florida. Obviously, there's one over in Switzerland for where the World Archery headquarters are. But well, we have another runner. Don't worry, Bruce. I'll lock the door behind you. All right. So as we get through here, as you saw right there, there was a little bit of a break, and the reason that they're giving the archers just that little 5-minute break is because it's one line, so there is no breaks while the other line shoots. So just as a do they actually need a 5-minute break every 4 ends? Probably not, but it's just a good gesture just to make sure that everybody's on equal footing. Now, for those archers that have been here all week, they've shot over 500 arrows for score, so probably closer to 600 scoring arrows. So they should be definitely in shooting shape by now, but. Just a good little thing. They gave the shooters about a 30-minute break in between the 5-spot round and this Vegas round, so they could, obviously shooting a different target. They got to get sighted in, make sure there's no anomalies in impact points from the different colors, etc. Dane Johnson getting them on and getting them gone, stepping off that line quick. Let's take a quick peek down here. Looks like Linda, Ochoa Anderson, and Paige Pierce got some good arrows down there. And the senior pro, Morocco and Audis, looks like they got some good arrows down there, so they're going to remain clean. As you can see, the 150s on the board did denote that was the official half of the Vegas round. So this is actually going to be N6 of 10. So this is moving exceptionally well. One of the things that has been discussed on the pro line here is the potential. I'm not saying this is happening, folks. I'm just saying this is what some shooters are talking about, is the speed at which the typical NFAA Indoor Nationals target is shot in Louisville is long. It's a long round. So going to one line like this is absolutely proving to be a fan favorite. We'll just put it that way. So if, for instance, they were to increase the number of lines per day for the pros, run one line like this, it would be extremely popular. Paige and Linda down there with 6 X's. There's a bunch of X's there. So I'm not seeing a lot of... Ooh, Gaius Carter has a low one down here. He is gesturing to the judge. Not seeing a lot else down here, so looks like our only arrow call down here is going to be young Mr. Gaius Carter. All right, so we're gonna... I don't know how good Gaius or August can zoom in on that, but so it's not looking promising. It's not looking promising for young Gaius Carter. That's right. He broke out.
47 seconds.
All right. I didn't hear the arrow call. What was the call, Donnie?
9.
So that was a 9. So Gaius Carter, unfortunately, has shot a 9 out the bottom. So Gaius, of course, will continue shooting. This is not the kind of thing where when you miss, you're done. Although some archers would probably like it that way. So Gaius is going to continue to shoot, but he did just drop a point on the Vegas round, which is going to eliminate him from the Indoor National shoot-off to come here in another hour and a half. Gaius does not look happy, as I wouldn't suspect he is going to be. The real question now, folks, is even though... I'll wait till he's not behind me. So the real test... So the real thing now is, how is Gaius going to respond now that he missed? Because he's only 1 point down now. So if he has a good X count, he could still find himself at the top of the guys who missed a point. But for a lot of archers, when they miss a point like this, they can have some problems moving forward. So going to be curious to see how Gaius responds. Let down by Gaius right there. His first target was inside out Super X. So on the women's side, Linda Cho Anderson is still leading Paige by 1. Looks like Tim Oudis has a wide arrow down there. We'll have to go down and check out target. So Tim Oudis has already dropped 1. So at this point, Morocco is in the lead by himself in the senior pro. So while I'm discussing the nature of these male pros that have shot 60Xs, shooting at 300 today to make it through to the shoot-off, we may not have shoot-offs in the women or the senior pro, because if Linda Cho Anderson shoots a 300 today, she will have been the only archer to shoot a 60X and a 300, meaning she would win outright. Same for Mr. Morocco in the senior pro. We take for granted and somewhat assume that in the men's division we will have probably at least 10 or 12, but that dynamic is not always guaranteed. Gaius responded with 3 solid X's. All good so far. Linda Cho Anderson's going to maintain a 1-point lead over Paige Pierce. And yes, indeed, Tim Oudis has dropped another point. So Randy Morocco is going to be sitting in first place all by himself. That's going to be 2 points drop for Tim Oudis. Tim Gillingham was just having a conversation with himself that I happened to be part of, or at least I was listening for it. He was having a conversation with himself to me, but I didn't necessarily have to be there for it. But Tim had dropped one, he just dropped another, hence the conversation where Timmy was talking to Timmy in Greg's presence about why Timmy does that to Timmy. That's Timmy. So, but at this point, the Indoor Nationals title is Randy Morocco's in the Senior Pro to win. If he continues to clean this out, Morocco will be the only Senior Pro to shoot a 60X and a 300, and there will be no shoot-off in the Senior Pro. We got an arrow call down here. Archer got the call. That was a 10. So Linda Cho Anderson maintains a 1-point lead over Paige Pierce on the men's pro side. The only archer to fall out so far from the 60X 5-spot archers is young Mr. Gaius Carter. I got to tell you, folks, I'm a little bit impressed how these boys and girls and seniors are shooting these indoor rounds. I was 50-50 on how the indoor rounds were going to go, all things considered, because no one shoots indoors in September, generally by choice. So the fact that these guys and gals have come in here and are shooting indoor scores like this in September that's impressive. So, what's that?
Just fired a little low.
Yeah, I was watching when it happened. You gave the quick head nod, so seems like you knew what happened.
Yeah, it was apparent.
It was so at least Gaius is not surprised. So it wasn't one of those mysteries. It was he said that's exactly where it was, and so and as an archer at this level, that's one of the things that. And I know you never want to miss. Let's not get it twisted. You never want to miss. But if you do, at least you don't want it to be a mystery. You just don't. For instance, at Vegas this year, Jesse Broadwater was shooting against Kyle Douglas and Chris Perkins was there too. I don't want to disrespect Chris, of course, but Jesse Broadwater was getting down to, I believe it was the final end, and Jesse missed it was either, I think it was a high right or a high left X, and Jesse said it fired absolutely perfectly dead in the middle. What does that mean? Could mean a lot of things, but Jesse was confused on why that arrow missed. That is not something any pro wants to have in the back of their head. And like Gaius said, it was not a surprise. That's where it was, and so now he'll move on. Linda Cho and Paige Pierce continue to pound them out down there. Let me take a quick look at Randy Morocco in the Senior Pro. Randy's bottom left arrow looks a little lowish, little low to the rightish. We'll have to go down there and take a gander at that right quick after we survey our Mayo pros. So we're gonna have to give Dane the trophy on the widest kicks. Well, that's already happened. That or his big toes trying to escape, but those are fresh kicks. I guarantee he's either not owned those very long or they've been kept in a box.
They've been kept in the box for sure.
There you go. That's steady pimping style right there. Only bust them out when you need them. That's right. All right, Richard Henry has a close one, but that's in. Steve Anderson throws his arms up. All right, there's a A lot of X's down here. Not seeing, all right. So all of the pros, male pros look good down there. Linda maintains her 1-point lead over Paige. Let's get down here and look at Randy's. It's way in. Like it's way in. By way in, I mean like a quarter shaft. But it takes way less than a quarter shaft to be in. It just barely has to be in. But that was way in. So, but in my own defense, I was on the wrong side of the shaft, and I'm blind. So, see how that works? That's why I don't call arrows, because I'm blind. But, so Randy's going to maintain his lead here at the 2020 NFAA Indoor Nationals and the Senior Pro. Be sure to like and share this live feed so your friends can tune in. That's Mike Leiter right there, everybody. He's one of the best guys in the sport. Be sure to like and share this live feed. If you're watching it on Facebook, like and share. Hit all those buttons that send up all the smiley faces. If you're watching on YouTube, do whatever it is you do on YouTube. Hit that like button. I don't know if anything comes up through the screen or not, but do it anyway and share it. If you're on Facebook, share it so all your friends can tune in. We got an arrow call down here. I'm suspecting this is for an X, but just in case. Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah, all right. Just say, I thought I looked at that first, but that's just a call for an X, which I know some of you that have heard that X's aren't counting for the shoot-off portion for the podium. However, for fourth place through the rest of the finishes, these X's will count. So you obviously do want to make sure that the X's are continuing to tally. For those of you wondering, on 57 and 58, that's actually a 240, and that's a 240. I'm not touching them, but those are actually 240s down there. So. We're getting down to it, folks. Going to be curious to see how things get a little bit tighter here in the last couple of ends, especially on the senior pro side and the women's pro side, because both Randy Morocco and Linda Cho Anderson can win this tournament outright. All they got to do is shoot that 300. Yes, it gets that quiet. Then everybody starts shooting and it sounds normal again, but when they first get after it, it's literally that quiet. And if you do look down the line to my right, starting at about target 59 or 60, you do see some pretty big names down there that did not make it through the 5-spot round. Your Jesse Broadwaters and Galantines and Wilds, Cousins. There's a lot of... Now, of course, if you go down from Cousins a couple, you do see a guy in a red shirt on the back that says Ellison. His bow is extremely long, and he's missing the cams on it. That's because that's Brady Ellison. Brady is not afraid to compete. And not only is he not afraid to compete, Brady is shooting the men's pro at the NFAA Indoor Nationals with a recurve. Not just with a recurve, but he's shooting it with X10s. And I will point out that not only is he doing all of that, he's not in last. And I'll just leave it at that. He's literally in the middle of the pack with a recurve and X10s. That's damn impressive. Linda Ochoa will maintain a 1-point lead. Even though it says an 11-point lead, it's not. Linda Ochoa will maintain a 1-point lead over Paige. All right. Let's come down here and take a look. Richard Bowen is the end of our 60 Xers. It's got a half shafter there, but solid. Everything else is looking stellar. I don't even really see anybody else coming even close. Paige and Linda still down here doing work. Like I said, for those of you wondering, no, Linda does not have an 11-point lead. Paige says math is hard. Let's go down here and check out. So Mr. Morocco still rolling down here. He's got it working. So that's going to be a 270 for Mr. Morocco. So 3 arrows to go, and Mr. Morocco can win the Senior Pro outright. 3 arrows to go, and Linda Choa Anderson can win the Women's Pro outright. Linda has been in this position many, many a time. So that 1-point lead, and 1 point's all it takes, folks. So obviously there is some stuff that needs to be adhered to. As much as I would love to stand behind Linda or Randy and congratulate them and talk to them as soon as they're done, need to maintain some shooter etiquette and not disrupt any other shooters that might be still at full draw, still trying to get their final arrows out. So while I will watch them, we won't talk to them until after the line. So here we go. Target number 50 right is Linda Choa Anderson. She just needs 3 10s to be your 2020 NFAA Indoor Nationals champion. One down, 2 to go. Randy Morocco also has 1 10 down there. So all Randy needs is 2 more 10s, and he will be your Senior Pro 2020 NFAA Indoor Nationals champion. Linda let down. My arm started to burn from holding up the binoculars. Thanks for the heads up, August. All right, here we go. Linda Choa Anderson, 2 more arrows. And there's an X, 1 more arrow for Linda Choa Anderson. And it looks like Mr. Morocco is going to be your Senior Pro 2020 Indoor Nationals champion with a 300 in the Vegas round and 60 X's on the 5 spot. And there you have it. Linda Choa Anderson shoots a 300. So there we go. There's hugs and love over here on the women's side. The big cat comes down, gets it done. We will get a word.
How many of you by show of hands would like to shoot an NFAA round and a Vegas round in a single line? What happened?
One line.
How many would like to shoot when you shoot Vegas? You can shoot a single line, and when you shoot NFAA national. Anybody would like to?
All right. So Bruce is asking. So Bruce is asking right now if the archers would want to shoot a single line like this at national events. So here we go. Bruce is going to be bringing out the folks that make all this possible. Steve, Layla, Samantha, Jennifer, Evelyn, Pam, Erica, Rachel, Brittany, Steph, Vic. Oh, here we go. Natalie Vollmer and Brittany Solonen. There you go. These are the folks that make all of this possible right here. Here we go. Bruce is talking to the crowd about how long this event has been, but so in the program, when you, for those here, when you get home in the program, look in it, there's apparently a $100 gift certificate in there for somebody. So whether they have realized it yet or not. All right, here we go. All right. We will wait for them to. Where is? All right, so we're going to have two outright champions. We will. Linda, when you're done, can you turn that to a 300, but don't pull the arrows? Yeah. We'll get some pics. All right. Linda's like, I've won. I know how it works. Paige looked at me like she ain't no rookie. All right, we're gonna get our bow junkie photographers out here. So we will be getting target number 36. Target number 36, Randy Morocco, is going to be your senior pro champion. Target number 50 will be your all right, so we will, as they add up scores down here, it's going to be a push, folks, who gets done first, whether it's Linda or Randy. So I'm going to, maybe Linda, so I'll go down here and talk to Linda. All right.
Once again, total your scorecards, make sure they're correct. Turn those into the two ladies in red. Any of you that have a tie for first, second, or third
all right.
in your division,
Just,
please report
all right.
right here.
Hold on. Get back there again. Paige. He has the wrong lens on there. He has to step way back. All right. Well, looky here. I'm with your 2020 Women's Pro Indoor Nationals champion. We just talked to you last night. You were the champion of the Dakota Classic 2. Congratulations. You shot a perfect 300 on this round. This was, of course, a modified round, but it's got to feel good to come back after the Dakota Classic and get the Indoor Nationals win.
It does feel good. It feels really good. I felt really tired today, and I was like, oh, I truly gave it all yesterday, but I just mentally tried to stay focused, and I think it worked.
It worked pretty good. Those last three arrows, you knew that you had a 1-point lead. Generally speaking, at Indoor Nationals or Vegas, you don't really know that a lot of times. So talk to us about kind of the different feelings of knowing if I put these last three arrows in, I just win outright.
It makes it more interesting. I really like knowing how everyone is doing. I mean, it depends. But if the score is there, I'm going to be watching, it's hard not to watch. So I knew it, and I was really nervous. I actually let down. I think that was the only time I let down, just in my second arrow. And I knew I couldn't shoot just a weak shot because I was shaking. It had to be a strong shot, so that's why I let down.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. That's Linda Cho-Anderson. She is your 2020 Dakota Classic champion and your 2020 Indoor Nationals champion. Let's get down here and four tied for second. Okay. All right, Randy. Let's get a quick word here. I'm here with Randy Morocco. He is your senior pro NFAA Indoor Nationals champion. You went ahead and got the 300 done today, so there would be no shoot-off or anything. As the round was going on, tell us how you were feeling today.
During the 60, the 5-spot, I was a little nervous. I had a release malfunction, had to switch over to my backup release about 3/4 of the way through. And, you know, it's different. Even a backup release is a little bit different. But then cleaned that out, thankfully. I'm really nervous in the last 5. And then I love the Vegas round, so I just kept on telling myself it's going to be all right, it's going to be all right, I can do this. And shots were breaking really nice. I adjusted my release as we were practicing before this. And thank God it just got them all and feels really good.
There you go. Now, coming into that last end, you knew. And I just talked to Linda Cho Anderson, who also knew. You knew if you got those 3 arrows that there would be no shoot-off. Right. Shoot-offs have become a norm in these pro divisions, you know, especially in the senior pro and the women's pro. The games have really been stepping up. So talk to us about that last arrow, knowing this last arrow goes in, I don't have to worry about a shoot-off whatsoever.
Right. You know, I knew that I was ahead, I think, 3 ends before. And I just didn't think about it. I just forced myself, don't think about it. Just keep on shooting your own game, even though you can't help but to think about it. But you just force yourself to discipline yourself mentally to just shoot your game. You're putting them in the middle. Don't do anything different. Just go out there and have fun and shoot arrows. You know, a friend of mine says, you know, we're not saving lives, we're just shooting arrows. So, you know, so when that last one went off kind of quick, but I knew it was in, just said thank God, and really excited. So.
All right, congratulations, buddy. The gentleman right back here is going to get some photographs to you. Just go ahead and stand there. Yes, he has to stand way back there because he's got that giant lens on there, but great job, buddy. All right, so let's come down here, and we are going to regroup here. Obviously, the NFAA is going to get together all the scores. As far as we can tell, yes, looks like there was only one person to fall out, so we're going to have 16 archers in the men's shoot down here in a little bit. We will be updating basically how long it's going to be, how much of a break. We will. They will reset the floor, and then guess what? It's NFAA Indoor Nationals shoot-off time, 5-spot targets. We do have a hold the brakes. What do we got? Hold on.
Yes, this is so screwed up. I am so lost. This is ridiculous. But anyway, so now there's, okay, Randy won outright, which should be. He cleaned the 5-spot round, and he shot a 300 on Vegas. Yes. We're all good with that. Yes. So then what do you do with the guys that shot a 300, didn't shoot 60 X's, but they cleaned the Vegas face? Well, technically, in our opinion, you should go into a damn shoot-off. But now he's going to go back to the NFAA X's, so Lynn got second and I got third.
All right, so there won't be a shoot-off in the senior pro then. You got second, Lynn got third, you got third, Lynn got second, and Randy got the win.
One outright, which it should be. That's the way it should be. Okay. Other than that, it's confusing.
All right. Well, that's your Mr. Clean update from Mr. Indoors himself, Keith Trail. How much of that you absolutely understood? Probably a little bit less than me, and I'm not fully up to speed on what he just said. But basically sounds like because some of the pros dropped X's on the 5-spot round, but then came and shot 300s in the Vegas round, they're just basically going to count the Indoor Nationals X's, and the 300s will be the 300s. So Randy Morocco is going to be your winner. Lynn Hoke will be second. Keith Trail will be third in the senior pro. Obviously, Paige Pierce is going to be second in the women's pro. We're going to regroup here. We're going to end this live feed, and as things regroup here, we will be starting another live feed for the 2020 NFAA Indoor Nationals 5-spot target, normal scoring, and then the dreaded, infamous either 10-minute or 2-hour inside-out shoot-off format. Here we go, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate your support. See you guys in a few minutes doing the live thing again. Love, peace, and chicken grease.